This is something that in early stage investment, at this point, Silicon Valley is completely ignoring, and by and large, the startup ecosystem of America is ignoring. And I'm telling you that this is something that Asia should not ignore. And my overall point there is that don't repeat America's mistakes. America is obsessed with venture capital. America is obsessed with exits. The investors who are operating in the ecosystem, in the financing ecosystem of America, are absolutely obsessed with exits. And the reality is there are very few exits. So relatively speaking, the number of exits is very small, so don't get obsessed with exits. Do consider the dividend model. The other problem that America has created is this whole notion of too big to fail. And I am of the opinion that the global development of capitalism, of entrepreneurship, the much, much greater adoption of entrepreneurship in the rest of the world needs to happen in a more distributed mode, with the assumption that financing is going to be optional. Here in the US, especially in Silicon Valley, owner-owned and operated businesses are looked down upon. They call them lifestyle businesses, and they look down upon them. I have to tell you, I gave you the case study of Zoho earlier. Zoho is founded by an entrepreneur called Sridhar Vembu. He's a good friend of mine, and I have to say I really like the position that Sridhar has put himself in. He's running close to $100 million company today, and it's 100% owned by him. So I refuse to believe that having VCs on your board is better than being able to run a company that you own 100% that gets to 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, $100 million in revenue, even if it takes a bit longer. So this is an option that the rest of the world should think of more cautiously. I'm actually kind of trying to bring this message to the American investors as well, and American media, that let's de-emphasize financing a little bit and try to emphasize more the real entrepreneurship, which is about customers, revenues, and profits. The American brand of capitalism has become dominated by the speculators. The speculators have hijacked the system, and which is why you saw the kind of crash that we have experienced recently. And we need to come up with a capitalism 2.0. And this capitalism 2.0 is going to be a distributed, democratic capitalism. It is going to be a different flavor of capitalism. It needs to be a different flavor of capitalism that is going to be more accessible to a much, much, much larger mass of entrepreneurs worldwide. I'd rather see, I don't know how many people are in the room today, I'd rather see, instead of 1% of you becoming successful entrepreneurs that will maybe build a $500 million company, I'd rather see all of you building mid-sized companies. Small companies, mid-sized companies, but successful companies with good revenues, good profits, and good cash. That, I think, will create a healthier situation in the world economy. And I would like to see that in that situation, I'd like to see the transaction between the producer of value and the consumer of value, with the finance here becoming optional. I do not at all for a minute say that the financier should not be a player. The financier should be a player. And because financier brings in leverage, you can grow faster, you can get larger, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of advantage of having capital, access to capital. And that capital is a fundamental, building block of capitalism. But the basic point that I want to drive home to all of you is that the entrepreneur needs to control the choice to take external financing or not. The entrepreneur should not be kind of coin-operated to go after investors, which is something that happens today. Unfortunately, This is happening today where we have created a system where somebody decides to become an entrepreneur and the first thing they think about is, oh, I need to go out and raise money. No. You should gain enough leverage, enough negotiating power before you go out there to try to raise money. And at that point, you should create for yourself the choice to take external financing or not. And if you do take external financing, on what terms would you take external financing? That is also something that you need to create choices for yourself. So the negotiating power, my point in all this is I would like the negotiating power to be in the hands of the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs should decide whether or not to raise money. And that's a vital change in the thinking of the ecosystem, so to speak, that I'd like to see come about. Instead of this mad rush towards financing, I'd like to see that there is more of an emphasis on building on the fundamentals and helping entrepreneurs develop negotiating leverage. So all of you in the audience who are working on incubators, and I know there's a lot of incubator work going on in Asia. There's a conference in India this week, the NASSCOM Product Conclave. Again, there's a lot of ecosystem development work around the world going on, and I have the same message for all of you, is that try to help the entrepreneurs build negotiating leverage. And if you are an entrepreneur working on a project, try to build for yourself enough negotiating leverage so that you're not like a beggar. You don't want to be, an entrepreneur should not be a beggar looking for financing and trying to raise financing no matter what. Whatever in whatever way you feel desperate, you just have to raise money, you're kind of knocking on door to door and with a begging bowl. This is not the way to raise money, and this is not the position that you should put yourself in. The time that you spend in knocking on investors' doors, before you invest that time, try to get your business validated as soundly as possible. And that is what's going to give you negotiating power with entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you, I've talked to numerous investors, and everyone says the same thing, is that we need to see validated businesses. We do not invest in concepts. Well, there you have it. That's your goal. I'm going to conclude this session by telling you a little bit about 1 million by 1 million, which is a project that I have started earlier this year. And our goal is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue. And I see this as a global movement. All of you, anywhere in the world who is doing entrepreneurship development, we consider you partners. And we would love to work with you. In 1 million by 1 million, we have a series of different offerings. One of the core offerings we have is an online strategy roundtable, which happens every week, and we have a virtual web conferencing system where 5 entrepreneurs from anywhere in the world, and we literally have people coming to pitch from anywhere in the world. I've had people from Malaysia, Indonesia, South Korea, Australia, China, everywhere, and lots of entrepreneurs from India constantly coming to these roundtables and pitching their ideas, and I give them feedback in real time and coaching and so forth. And this is a platform that is freely available to any entrepreneur anywhere in the world. And if you are running an incubator or you're an investor and you want your entrepreneurs to participate and leverage its services, please go. By all means, feel free to do that. In some cases, some incubators are actually they get together around the time of these roundtables with their group, and they listen to the roundtables together, and they discuss these roundtables and ask questions. So I would encourage you strongly to take advantage of the programming that we are creating here. In addition, now 1 million by 1 million is not a non-profit. It is it's a for-profit. So we have this free programming, but we also have a premium program, which is the 1 million by 1 million private lounge. So if you do not want to pitch your idea or your business strategy in a public roundtable, in the free public roundtable, you also have the option of attending one of our private roundtables, and that has the premium lounge has $1,000 annual membership fee, and that also gets you access to our online curriculum. It's a series of video lectures, case studies, and discussions. We have discussion forums. You could ask questions, and I will answer questions. And we have private roundtables on a regular basis. In addition, we also introduce our entrepreneurs to a variety of different constituencies. That includes investors, customers, channel partners. I've introduced our 1 million by 1 million entrepreneurs to a number of situations where they are talking to customers, and talking to customers means that actually is helping them enhance their validation, their valuation, their fundability, and the same goes with channel partners. And of course, I also introduce the entrepreneurs to investors. And we also have a program called the Incubation Radar. So the companies that we see in 1 million by 1 million, we try to give them access through my blog to a broad base of, again, investors, customers, channel partners, any other kind of partners who may be of interest to you. So the 1 million, check it out. The 1 million by 1 million program is on my blog, sramanamitra.com, SRAMANAMITRA.com/1M1M. And you would, or 1M1M.sramanamitra.com. So this is part of the 1 million by 1 million global initiative to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP, and create 10 million jobs by 2020. And by this, we hope to establish a framework for capitalism 2.0. And as I said, everybody, all of you in the audience who are working on entrepreneurship development, I consider all of you our partners for the 1 million by 1 million movement, and I'd love to work with you. We have several 1 million by 1 million ambassadors around the world. If you contact us, we will be able to give you some local support potentially as well. In Malaysia, we're working closely with the MAD incubator, and by all means, reach out to us, and we look forward to working with you. And also, my message to the entrepreneurs, please take advantage of the program. We look forward to supporting a global ecosystem development. You know, we actually have created an ecosystem around 1 million by 1 million of investors, of customers, of channel partners, and so on and so forth, creative financing, all sorts of things, which we would like to help you plug into your incubators or your local entrepreneurship development work. If you're at university and if you want to plug your university entrepreneurship program into the 1 million by 1 million movement, by all means, feel free. We would be very, very delighted to work with you going forward. And thank you for having me. I enjoyed having this opportunity to speak to you about a few of the observations I have about entrepreneurship in the world and in the context of Silicon Valley, and I hope you found it useful.